Hi guys, it's Amanda Watson from MrsWatsonEducation.com, and sorry for the weird angle, but I am in my classroom as I finally have my supplies. I wanted to make a glue sponge how-to video so you can see how easy it is for me to set these up, and how much you might like them. And I know it might be different with the corona situation and distancing that you can use, but eventually we're going to get out of this and just do shared supplies again. So I want to make sure you knew how to work for this. So this is the magical glue sponge, and I use these for my interactive notebooks. So just want to briefly kind of show you how I set them up. First, I get a Ziploc container. Now I really like these five, I think they're 2-cup containers. I can't even see. I have them linked so you can how to find them, but there's so many different sizes you can. Yeah, 5 containers, 8 ounces. They're this size, which is pretty good for my students. And I like these. I've used other ones in the blog. You'll see I got one that had hard plastic snapping containers, and the students seem to break those faster, which was amazing. These are pretty cheap and durable because there's more of flexible plastic, I found, and there's various sizes. You could get whole, like sandwich size if you want, depending on what your setup is, but these are the ones I like. Now, and I have those linked in the blog, so you could get them if you'd like. Now, this is a container I've used for I haven't replaced them. So this is second year on this container. You can see the sides are a little bit cracked where they got, squeezed and used, and the lid is right there. But because of the way they're designed, even though the sides are cracked, there's not very much air that gets through still, and they still do their job. So I don't replace these very often unless it's like dire. Now, I've had this glue sponge. I haven't touched it. I just got to my classroom, and the date on the board says March 11th, 2020. So, and I don't touch these regularly, so I can imagine it was probably about a week or 2 weeks at least prior to that date that I have had these been used or refilled. And I just kind of want to show you. So this is a setup glue sponge, and the surface, and I know you can't feel that, but it's still tacky. It's a little dry on the surface. And what I do with my students is I kind of train them as we go through. Once I teach them how to use it, I always say this: well, if it's not really if it's a dry surface on the top, one student that's very capable will learn how to flip the sponge, and you could see there's already some some glue that you can see that kind of just settled to the bottom, and it is, you could hear it, very sticky on the bottom. So that's months later. So you can imagine how that would work in a, when you're frequently using them and refilling them as needed. So I'm just going to show you without refilling the sponge how I set this up. So I have the students learn how to use the 4-corner method. I mostly have them because I cut my papers and use a digital interactive notebook, cut them in half. I just teach them how to use 4 corners. And I show them that they can press down paper in the corner and it will adhere. I also show them this when I go through, and I don't know if you can see, I just lightly press down. I show this as a class, a group setting, and I walk around with the paper and see, I didn't put a lot of pressure. I didn't have to remove the sponge. I didn't have to do any of that. And you can see the whole surface where I press down has glue on it now. And I teach them the word saturation so that they know that the glue, the sponge itself, is saturated. And contains tons of glue, so you don't have to see visibly a lot of it. And just to show you how easy this is, I'm just going to fold this down. Remember, I haven't used these, my students haven't been in here since March 11th, okay? And it's been sitting in the hot classroom, no AC. And since then, look, see, I folded that together. It's stuck. It's still a little wet, so it's not like completely adhered, but it's all the qualities of liquid glue that you love, but with a little bit more convenience factor, because I hate the glue sticks. One, they don't really stick very often. A lot of times it's like a hint of sticking, and then after a while they peel off, or the caps fly in the round or get lost and the glue sticks dry out, and then you're replacing them constantly. So I love this way, and it's very, very effective in gluing things down in my IMBs. Oops. But you get the point when it would dry. It's really, a lot of times students were like, I messed up, I put on the wrong page, and it's in 5 minutes they're peeling it off their page because it's worked so well. So like I said, this has been a long time coming, so I'm going to show you not how I would set it up from scratch, because you get an idea. You get a container and a sponge. I want to show you, this is the big thick sponges I get, and you can kind of see size comparison, what that would look like. So not the ones that you get for your normal kitchen are like about half this size, and I found these really thick ones that I like to use because they fit really well in this container. And this is the normal size of it. So you can see where I cut it down and I have extra pieces that I use for like cleaning up messes and stuff like that. So a little bit of cost up front for the sponges, and I think it's worth getting the extra thick ones because they hold more glue, they saturate more, and you have less time you have to spend like refilling. So I'm going to refill my sponge quickly. I like to get the big gallons when they're on sale because they just last me, this will last me probably at least 6 months, but they have lasted me a whole year depending on, you know, how much I'm using glue. Now, my first time I ever made glue sponges, I gathered up all of these I had in my classroom and just used these to fill them up for the first time because I didn't want to waste this already, but I didn't want to use it again. So that's a great thing to do, you know, use that glue. So I'm just going to show you my container. It's brand new. I haven't even opened it. Open the seal. And all you do is this. You pour the glue to the top. Now, I've already had this saturated for a long time, so I'm not going to put tons of glue in like I would the first time. The first time I'd put at least a bottle and make sure it's really coated. This is a good amount. This is because it's been a few months. If it was just a normal refill, I might not use that much. But so this is what I do. And if you're setting them up for the first time, you do the same exact thing. So you fill the top, but wait. Then and it will get a little messy, but I like to do the multiple flips. So now I flipped it to the bottom, and the bottom part doesn't have any glue on it. And if it was a brand new one, I might fill that with glue too. But what I've also found is if you just keep rotating, so now you can see it's completely coated. The bottom has a good layer of glue on it as well. And I just flip and flip and flip and flip, and I leave the top surface that I poured the glue on the top, so it will settle down and saturate through that glue sponge, and I just feel it. Now my, you know, obviously you're gonna get a little messy the first time you do it, but that's pretty much all the mess that you teach, that you have to deal with, because it will soak up into the sponge. You won't have a lot of loose glue unless you really overdid it that first time. When you do these, it takes a few days for the glue to saturate, so I like to refill them on Friday so they're ready to go by Monday. If it was my first time setting them up, I might do it first day of pre-planning and then have, you know, that week, 2 weeks before students show up, to make sure that they're really saturated. You can add more glue if you need to, if you find out like one container wasn't enough. But that's what I do for glue sponges. I really hope you enjoy that because these are lifesavers for me. It does take some, you know, a little bit of pre-training, teaching the kids corners that you don't have to touch, and if you do touch them if they're dry, how you do that. Hopefully you have a classroom sink or something available to you, or just say bring them to me, you know. But I love these. These have helped me a lot. I just don't know how I'm going to utilize them during COVID-19 with students, you know, not be able to share supplies, but I know they're going to be great for me in the future regardless. I might get some creative ideas with that. And normally I share one of these per desk, but since I'm going to have less students and not 2 people per desk, I might just make one per student, and then have them wipe them down. I don't know, but those are glue sponges. I hope you liked it, and don't forget to just read my blog. I have the links of some of the supplies in there, and stay tuned for other things to come. Thank you so much.